Jai Shri Ram to everybody. So one of the things that I picked up to read today as directed by Hanumanji is the strong emotions that are coming, that are there in the environment today. So it's if you see, there are a lot of wars happening. There are a lot of, it's election atmosphere as well. So there is a lot of strong emotions that are rising within a lot of people. So this is a chapter that I'm going to read, which talks about how do we deal with strong emotions. Much to the displeasure of Baba, I'll go a little bit behind to give you a better context. So this is from the book of Immortal Talks, and the chapter is called Mermaid. Why is it called the Mermaid? Because before this, Urva has a dream, and he always has this dream. So there is Baba Matham, and then there is Urva. So Urva is the designated next Baba, or the head of the tribe. Now Urva has, every night he sees only one dream, and he's haunted by it. In the dream, he sees himself becoming a mermaid. He is being pulled into this he's on a rock, and a mermaid comes and pulls him down. Then he himself becomes a mermaid, and he goes through that entire cycle where he sees that he becomes the king, and then he becomes old, and then someone else becomes the king, and everybody who's old is pushed into the mouth of a whale. So he finds himself dying. So this happens, this is a traumatic experience that he sees every night, and the significance of this is that every strong emotion pulls us down like a mermaid. So this is the chapter called The Mermaid, and I will be reading from the, after this entire thing where he describes about the mermaid. So Baba and Urva are going into the jungle, and in order to collect things for the Charan Puja, and they're hunting for honey. They're hunting for honey, and there they see that everybody there are these three outsiders. So this entire Mathan tribe has managed to stay isolated from the outside world, and they see three outsiders who are watching them very keenly. And these three outsiders finally become the ones who translate this book. So he says, An hour later, after having breakfast, Urva, his best friend Dhanushka, their uncle Basanta, and Baba set out to hunt for honey. Just as they crossed the edge of their hamlet, Baba spotted three oddly garbed outsider men who seemed to have tried their best to look like jungle dwellers sitting on three separate stones. There they are, the three mermaids out to hunt me, said Baba, flushed with anger, dropping his gaze from the three men and looking resolutely at the ground. I see no mermaid there, Baba. They are just three men, perhaps wanting to talk to you. So let us express our gratitude to Baba Mathang and Urva Mathang, and it is through, and also to Dhanushka and Basanta. It is through their interaction that we are getting this wisdom and this knowledge. So, said Urva, they are just three men wanting to talk to you, said Urva, having shot a shifty glance at the three outsiders. Urva had always been curious about the people that lived outside the jungle, but not so much that he would go exploring their territory at the cost of facing the fury and wrath of Baba, who considered them greedy monsters out to swallow the jungle. Oh yes, you're right, and I am wrong, Baba shouted at Urva aggressively. Urva, however, didn't look discomfited, for he knew Baba was not angry at him, but pretending to be so, thinking that the feigned anger would drive away the outsiders, or at least their desire to talk to him. But these outsiders were no ordinary tourists. One of the three, who called himself Hanudas, meaning the one surrendered to Lord Hanuman, had glimpsed the immortal Lord Hanuman in broad daylight amidst the amidst the noise of crowded streets in the city of Toronto, which happened long back, right? We know about it. His two companions, Swamiji and Brahmachariji, who would adopt the title of Hanudas later, were highly knowledgeable monks. All three of them would later get assimilated by the Mathans and become the messengers who carried the words of the immortal Hanuman to mainstream society. Much to the displeasure of Baba, his angry demeanor didn't deter the three intruders from walking up to him and saying something in an alien language. Whatever they said, they did it very politely and respectfully with their heads slightly bowed and hands joined in front of their chests. Baba reacted as though it was Urva who had brought about this intrusion. He snatched the empty honey pot from his hands and slammed it on the ground right at his feet, shouted at him for no particular reason, while the loud bang of the shattered pot added to the dramatic effect. The three intruders backed away with their hands raised slightly, trying to express categorically that their intentions were not to harm the tribal people or the jungle in any way. When the path was clear, Baba, Urva and the three Mathans marched off on their way to hunt honey. Wow, that was very fine acting, giggled Urva, once they were out of sight of the outsiders. Baba frowned at him. His uncle Basanta started humming to himself, endeavoring to unhear what he believed was a mindless utterance from the mouth of the future leader of Mathans. Urva had been pronounced as the next leader when he was only 9 years old. Since then, he had been subjected to suffocating expectations from his community members. Everyone expected him to comport himself with the maturity of an 80-year-old. They would search every word he spoke for the message of the gods. He had learned to withhold his youthful impulses. He had a filter in place inside his mind which reduced every urge to guffaw into a smile, every impulse of mindless chatter into silence. Only his friend Dhanushka understood him for what he really was, a typical young man. Urva had never been able to fully understand why the gods had chosen him to be the next head of the Mathans. Good that we now have one less honey pot to fill, said Dhanushka, with the haste of a man trying to mask the wrongdoing of his best friend. Baba, who is the mermaid? Did you see it in those three men? Asked Urva, back to doing what was expected of him, talking wisdom. Any soul you're attached to is a mermaid for you because it slowly pulls you into the pond of its bad karma, replied Baba, returning to his pleasant self. Baba, I am attached to my best friend Dhanushka. Is this soul transferring its bad karma to me? Asked Urva as he earnestly tried to understand the allegory of the mermaid. Allegory means example. Yes, if you are attached to him, you are being slowly dragged by his soul, the mermaid, into the dark pool of all the bad karma it may have, replied Baba, turning his head to spare a suspicious glance at Dhanushka, who was walking behind them. Attachment is bad, yeah, commented Dhanushka, who seemed eager to convey that he hadn't taken Baba's word personally and that he was equally interested in knowing the mystery of the nightmares his friend had been enduring since childhood. Come on, Dhanu, it doesn't make any sense. If there is a transfer of bad karma taking place between us because of the attachment, it has to be mutual. If we imagine attachment as a channel between two souls, the flow can't be one-sided, added Urva airily. If the attachment is mutual, then transfer is mutual. The souls of both of you are mermaids for each other in that scenario, said Baba politely. And if attachment establishes a channel between two souls, bad and good karma should equally flow through it. It can't be the transfer of only bad karma, said Urva. It appeared he wasn't listening to Baba. You know what? Forget it. You aren't ready yet to know the mystery of the mermaid, said Baba, frowning heavily. Do you understand what happened here? Do you understand the significance of this dialogue? So he says, I am attached to, in this case, Urva is attached to Dhanushka. So Urva says it is not just a transfer of bad karma that is happening, there is also good karma transfer that is happening. Right? But that's not true. Why?
Only bad karma is being transferred. Baba Mata.
I didn't understand.
Baba Mata is saying only bad karmas are transferred.
Where does he say that?
He's starting only in answer.
And he also says that the soul usually wants to get rid of all the...
Wait, don't jump ahead of the... Let's go. So he doesn't say, yes, he does say, any soul you are attached to is a mermaid for you because it slowly pulls you into the pond of its bad karma. So, Urva's reasoning, right? And we have already seen it. Dhanushka, Basanta, not Basanta so much, but Urva and Dhanushka are very, very point on in their reasoning. Especially with Indra, Lord Indra, they are point on in their reasoning. So, he says, if attachment establishes a channel between the two souls, bad and good karma should equally flow through it. It can't be the transfer of only bad karma. Right? So he says, Baba says frowningly, he says, you are not yet ready to understand the mystery of the mermaid. Yes, Baba, I agree. I shall be ready, I guess, when my nightmares have tortured me into lunacy, said Urva, snipping off a cluster of leaves in frustration as he passed under a low branch of a gnarled tree. Long minutes passed. The four Mathans added no sound of their own to the ambience of the jungle, except for the sound of heavy breathing from Baba as they trudged on the rough terrain. A sudden thought erupted in Urva's mind. The thought was too scholastically exciting to bother about its source. He expressed it immediately. Baba, suppose there is a famous musician. People from all over the kingdom are his fans. This is a one-sided attachment. That means his soul is a mermaid transferring its bad karma to thousands of its fans. As a result, he lives a life of abundance while his fans struggle with difficulties of day-to-day life. His bad karma affects his fans. Correct, no? So he talks about one-sided attachment. He says if there is two-sided attachment, then both good karma and bad karma should pass. But if there is one-sided attachment, then only bad karma should pass. You can understand everything and anything when you want to, complimented Baba without softening his tone. You got it absolutely right, Urva. If you are attached to a soul, it behaves like a mermaid and transfers its bad karma to you. You can imagine the mermaid as someone who is suffering from an infectious disease. They infect anyone who gets attached to them. They may not do it intentionally. It just happens because that is the nature of a soul. It wants to get rid of bad karma and possess good karma. Therefore, by the sheer nature of a soul, only the bad karma flow through the channel of attachment unless some artificial means are deployed to alter the natural process. Your friend Dhanushka's soul, assuming you are attached to him, is a mermaid infecting you with its bad karma. It doesn't mean that it is intentionally doing it. One mustn't hold grudges against the mermaid. Just take care not to get attached to it. Patients with an infectious disease don't intend to infect you. It just happens if you come in contact with them. How come the souls of those outsiders act as mermaids on you, Baba? You are not friends with them, are you? I don't see any attachment between you and them. What am I missing? Asked Dhanushka, his voice beginning to crack. The head of the tribe had accused him of infecting their successor after all. Being angry at someone is also a form of attachment, Dhanu, replied Urva before Baba could prepare his answer. Yes, thank you, Urva, said Baba. Every emotion is a form of attachment. There are mainly 9 emotions: joy, sadness, anger, fear, pity, disgust, expectation, surprise, and trust. You are attached to those who give you joy. You are attached to those who make you sad. You are attached to those you fear. You are attached to those you are full of pity for. You are attached to those who disgust you. You are attached to those you expect from. You are attached to those who surprise you. You are attached to those you trust. In short, you are attached to those who evoke any kind of emotion in you. You should consider them all as mermaids, as the infected souls out to sink you in the depths of their bad karma. In that case, every living soul we come across is a potential mermaid, remarked Dhanushka with a sense of relief in his voice. The stronger the attachment, the quicker and higher the transmission of bad karma, said Baba. He hadn't directed his remark at Urva and Dhanushka's friendship, but Dhanushka saw it hitting just there. Urva, meanwhile, was busy in his own calculations. Now I want you to take this example and apply it to yourself. A king is loved by some and hated by others. But since hate and love both fall under the definition of attachment, he is attached to all. His soul therefore transfers its bad karma to all. Funny, isn't it? The mathematics of karma rains luxuries on him at the expense of both his fans and haters, uttered Urva, preoccupied with his own thoughts. Dhanushka didn't let the conversation pivot in another direction. Resolute on finding out what Baba actually thought of his friendship with Urva, he said, "Indeed, we have a strong attachment. We must be flooding each other with our bad karma. Maybe the flow of bad karma has reached an equilibrium between you two," said Uncle Basanta, joining the conversation for the first time. "Yes, this is likely," said Baba. "Many factors come into play when two souls get attached to each other. We are currently discussing the broad allegory of the mermaid. I am being brutalized by the nightmares just to understand this, asked Urva. Even a child could master this allegory in a minute. Why the torture, Baba? I spent years in one night trapped in the kingdom of the mer people, and then I am fed alive to giant whales. Giant whales, okay? I can't describe the agony. Once you take charge as the chieftain, you must be able to spot the mermaid immediately and save yourself and your subjects from it. It sounds easy, but it's very tricky. We tend to underestimate the deadly power of the mermaid because it usually hides inside mortal, ordinary people. To be honest, even I am feeling very weak today. I think the mermaids that skulked behind those outsiders have infected me to some extent," said Baba. As he spoke those words, the mental images of the 3 greedy intruders flashed in his mind, causing a ripple of anger that he contained immediately. This lingering residue of anger suggested weakness in his defenses against the mer people. He could feel an air of ordinariness around him ever since he had returned from the ancestors' cliff last evening with the news of Lord Hanuman's arrival. He had been feeling like a relieved trustee who was about to hand the property back over to its owner. This little weakness could have alarmed him on an ordinary day, but not today, for he knew Lord Hanuman was there to rescue him in case the mermaid sank him. It was your anger that became the channel between the mermaid and you. What real harm could it do to you, Baba? A spoiled mood for a day or two, a little headache maybe, what else? Here you go. Your question proves my point, said Baba. You haven't understood the mermaid yet. You are talking about the side effects of anger while I am talking about the harm done by transmission of the bad karma. The impact of the latter is very real and mostly immediate. I can't tell you how much and what there what kind of their bad karma got transmitted into my soul through the channel of anger. It can wreak havoc in my life immediately or some days later. Memory of this incident and the anger it sparks may fade away in a few days, but the bad karma won't vanish without causing the trouble they are meant to cause. Worse still, my soul may transfer them unintentionally, of course, to my fellow Mathans, the same people I am supposed to protect. An example could help, Baba, said Basanta, while Urva drove the horses of imagination to catch Baba's words in its true essence. I don't mean to create fear here, since fear is also a form of attachment. But if you want examples of the harm that the transmitted bad karma could cause, imagine me or my loved ones or any of my loved ones meeting a nasty accident, said Baba. Meeting a nasty accident just because you got angry at a bunch of aliens, said Dhanushka. I repeat, anger only lays the channel. The flow of bad karma causes the harm. And there is no escape from this harm, is there? Asked Basanta. Even though he was much older than his nephews, in terms of knowledge he stood at equal footing with them. He was a young child ineligible to understand the supreme knowledge when the immortal Guru had visited the Mathans 41 years ago. We can certainly choose not to build contacts inside our community, said Dhanushka. That way we exchange karma only with each other. Being Mathans, we don't hold much bad karma with us anyway. Oh, started Baba, expecting Urva to complete his sentence. Urva didn't disappoint. He said, or we can feign emotions instead of actually being emotional, just the way you did, Baba. You weren't actually angry at them, you were only acting. Fine acting though. And the same goes for our interactions within our community too, said Baba. The wise Mathans stay away from all 9 forms of attachment and all the emotions. We express emotions as though we are acting in a play, the grand play of Maya. True emotions make a true human being. Only the selfish people fake their emotions to weave their evil designs, said Dhanushka, looking inquiringly at Urva. Correct, no? Yes or no? If we are only faking emotions. So, understand something. He uses the word, people fake their emotions. Faking emotion is something different. Which means I'm feeling something inside me, but I'm trying to show some other feeling outside. I may have, and this is what I would say 99.9% of human beings today are doing, correct? We feel something, but we show it as something else. And this is called faking. Inside we have many, thoughts about him and then many impressions about the other person, but the way in which we come across, we are, the people will praise their boss. I know many of us here are very candid in our expressions, which is a good thing, but also leads to consequences. But you can always say that we are prepared to accept consequences rather than faking. However, there is a better way to do it. True emotions, faking and acting are different, Dhanu, said Urva. I can have true emotions at any point and be simultaneously aware that this world is just a grand play where I am merely playing a character. This awareness comes with the knowledge, the supreme knowledge, which Lord Hanuman had imparted to me and the other senior Mathans 41 years ago. You too, said Basanta, nodding towards his nephews, weren't even born then. I was just a child, ineligible to absorb even a single word from our immortal Guru. He said with a gleam of longingness in his eyes. He, like Urva and Dhanushka, was unaware that their immortal Guru had arrived again after 41 years. Those who have realized the supreme truth, the Brahmanas, too experience joy, but they do it as though they are playing a joyful character. They too get sad, but they do it as though they are playing a sad character. They too get angry, but as though I got it, Baba, Urva cut him. If we express our emotions with the awareness of being a character in this grand play, we remain safe from the mermaid. There it is, one more mermaid, said Baba a minute later when they detoured off their honey hunting trail, when in the pursuit of the source of a putrid smell and found an almost dead maggot infested dog dumped inside a bush. We'll stop here because after this there is a story that entails. And I would like to discuss with you all about what we just, because this is a lifelong sadhana. This is every second, every minute sadhana of playing a character, being aware that we are just mere characters that we are trying to play and not get too steep, too involved, too attached to our own character. If we are attached to our own character, then we mistake that and come under the illusion that this is who we are, and thereby we start, all the emotions will start, right? Give me an example when you felt that you were a victim of somebody who was more powerful than you and you were a helpless observer. You couldn't help it. Somebody else was more powerful than you and he inflicted some kind of grief on you.
I mostly relate with the workflow only. There's something I know I don't want to do that thing, but I have to do it because there is some kind of there is superiority is there who is telling you have to do that.
Well, that is not, being a victim is much more powerful than that.
Yeah.
Being a victim, like for example, when you are harassed, when you are mentally harassed, when you are mentally abused or physically abused, that is when you feel being victimized, because that plays on your mind day in day out. It plays on your mind. You are not able to get out of it. You keep thinking about it all the time, and you realize that you are powerless to change that scenario because there are people in power who are far more powerful than you are. Like for example, there's a friend of mine who was being harassed by the local gundas backed by the corporator and MLA to give up his land. What can you do? Every day they will come and they will have this thing. They will try to, create ruckus. There is something he was building, they came and broke everything. What will you do? And they want him to give up that at a dirt cheap throwaway price. Wanting to do what you want to do is different. That is your job. I mean, you have signed up for it. You are getting paid for it. So you might as well do it. Somebody else wants you to do it because it is in line with the organization's desires, wants, visions, whatever, right? You feel another way, that's okay. But at the end of the day, you're being paid to do it. So you're not a victim. Victim is very different. Victim, that's why I said, think of any scenario where you have felt absolutely powerless against a force where you have said, this is it. Only God should help me from here. So there have been many instances, where you feel that way, where you are stuck in a situation where you feel that people are more powerful than you, and you are absolutely powerless, helpless to change it, and you are just a victim. And at that time, I want you to realize that it is your character which is feeling that. there are many emotions that stem from this situation. Being a victim is the most common feeling because it gives rise to helplessness, it gives rise to anger, ensuing anger after that, because you're helpless and you hate that, so you're angry at that other person. So along with anger, you also feel pity for yourself. Along with pity, you start imagining, I just wish this never happened. So there is sadness within you. When you become a victim, all of those, or most of those emotions that Baba Matan listed, right, you will start feeling because they all come very strongly. So in such a scenario, how do you battle it? And it's very important because the deeper the attachment to your character, the deeper you will feel this. The stronger the attachment to your character, the stronger you're going to feel that you are more, you're going to feel a stronger wave of emotion. The longer you're going to feel this wave of emotion, the longer you're going to take to come out of it. Time heals, but then if the stronger you are in terms of attachment to your character, the longer this time will take to heal. So if you feel you're on the spiritual path and you have understood everything that Lord Hanuman has taught us so far, you can use this as a dipstick measure, a litmus test, call what you may, to see how deep you are in those emotions. If you are still deep, then your attachment to your character is still there. Happens to everybody. So one thing is that some situations act as triggers. Like my father will say something to me, I'll respond to him in this thing because, he comes from a different line of thought and a generation of their beliefs, and he wants to impose it on me, and I trigger back and I said, listen, that's not what is happening, while at the same time I'm aware that if I don't act a little forcefully, then he will have his way out, so I have to be equally forceful and suppress that and say that no, this is how I want it to be done. All of that is okay, because then you understand that this is this is just a play that is happening. Ultimately, I don't carry any ill will towards him, or he doesn't carry any. That is okay. It's a play. This will happen, that will happen. The next minute we'll be fine. But that is also acting as a trigger. However, when there are emotions that stay with you, when things that play with you, like for example, when someone hurts you, someone says something which pricks you and says, why did he say that? Something that hits your ego, something that makes you feel that you are that you are powerless, or not even that. When you feel hurt, when someone close to you hurts you in a different way, that's when you start realizing that my emotions are still very raw. So you've all been on this path for 1 year with me. How do you battle it? Give me tell me what happens. How are you trying to get over it? You've been here for how long with us? It's the first time?
It's the first time.
Okay. Ashutosh. Have you heard of Immortal Talks before? You know what I'm reading from? Okay.
No, but I was able to relate to the things that you were saying.
So we've been reading from here for a year. We have a YouTube channel which I'm recording, which I will now upload. But a lot of theory. Now we are trying to bring it into practicality of transformation, right? We have read a lot of theory, but now all of these stories have to result in how have we evolved? How have we moved forward in this spiritual path? How have we bettered our own life? How have you battled this?
I've been sharing with you. Weekly basis.
Yeah, but I mean, I know, but then what is it? I mean, can you give me a few? So everybody uses a certain amount, certain, I would say, certain tool. Okay, my tool is I keep reminding myself that all this is an illusion.
Sometimes I get into that emotions very intensely, and then I think it takes a little bit of time for me to realize, okay, I am under the influence of this emotion. Why is this happening to me? So this questioning used to be very late, maybe 1.5 years ago, 1 year ago, but nowadays it's coming in like say within seconds. Previously, after the situation, after reaction, fighting, and all the exchange of emotions, I used to sit and think, why did I react that way? Now look at the consequence. I have to go through such a big consequence. So there's a difference. Now I feel, no, I'm not gonna react. I some certain times when I'm going and I know where my emotions are going to be triggered. So I set myself that, okay, yeah, these are things going to happen. So you better be silent or handle it in a different manner, or come back home, speak later, or speak to someone. So something like this is happening.
So, have you been using any of the things that we have learned from here to apply to yourself?
I think on a weekly, daily basis, I am using.
What is that?
So the first lesson that I picked up from Immortal Talks is the mermaid thing. That is, the more you're attached to a person, the more they're going to drown you into their emotional life. Like if that attachment is not good enough, like that person is not, like say, I'm not saying like good attachments or bad attachment, but sometimes some relationships drown you in life, like toxic relationship. They make you feel like you're lost in the life, you're lost already so much. So I think I recognize that. My first lesson from the Immortal Talks is of the mermaid, that recognizing toxic relationships, who is drowning you, your energy, who is not good for you, where you need to detach, even though it is your partner or father or mother. I learned some kind of detachment from the mermaid chapter, and I think all the chapters have been giving a little bit lesson. So I think.
So what is your first one? I mean.
First is the mermaid lesson. That was very strong on my mind. And the second lesson is that first chapter actually, where Chitta gets an alternate mother. So I have a similar situation in my life. So I relate into it and okay, yeah, this is what the soul has brought. So I have no say on that. Like I see that pattern repeating in one of my close relatives. So I see that pattern and I realized, okay, the soul has got this, I can't do anything. Maybe if I can do something is that only like pray to Hanuman. That is what I do. Like I only pray to Hanuman.
I want you to start, see, all this is great, but then please understand that there are more powerful tools that have been given to us. And I need you to start applying those also. What are those powerful tools?
Asuras and Suras is one very strong tool, and desire fulfillment is recently has been a very strong influence on my mind. And also I was telling this to my cousin, like Rekha, she was very hell-bent on getting a certain job or a certain proposal or a certain relationship. So I think after reading that chapter myself here and translating in Kannada, I went deep into it and understood, okay, now I also need to detach and just sit back and do whatever I'm supposed to do, and whether it is coming to me or not, just let everything.
No, I think we are diverting from the topic. I'll try to rephrase it. Okay, so number one is where we have felt helpless and as victims. And there are a lot of emotions that come. There is a very, very strong emotions where we feel that, God has dealt us an unfair hand. Life hasn't been fair to me. Why did this shit happen to me? I have been a great person. Why did this happen to me? Look at others, they have been living a sinful life and nothing is happening. And I have been living a very devoted and pious life and this has happened to me. Right? So, from here there will be very strong emotions. Now, what I want to see is there are many things that I understand whatever you've said, but what I'm trying to tell you is that there are many more powerful tools that you can apply and come out of the situation faster. So the first thing that you need to see is that, number one, what am I feeling? It is called emotional quotient as Western psychologists want to put it. But that's just a very minuscule part of what we have understood till now. So bring your emotions into your awareness. Don't get carried away in that. Like if there is a flow of emotion, then you will always be carried away in that emotion. But what we have understood is, how do we step back? In order to step back, we need to bring that emotion into our, call it the prefrontal cortex, but we want to bring that in front of us and say, I am feeling angry, look at me, I am feeling like this, look at me, I am feeling this way. So the minute you come, that's the first step. You understand that this is how I am feeling. The next is, you ask yourself, in that emotion, what gave rise to that emotion? Where is the asura? Because I am not feeling it. Who is feeling it? Who is feeling it? I am not feeling it. Something has hijacked me and is enjoying that emotion through me. Who is that something which has hijacked me and feeling those strong emotions through me? I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling helpless, I'm feeling like a victim, I'm feeling all of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of that. There is a cycle. You will see everything. Helpless, victimized, anger, joy, sadness, repeat. You will go in that cycle. So the minute you have that same cycle, you step back and see yourself feeling that cycle. And then you say, who is feeling it? I can see that asura feeling it. So you bring that asura into picture. You see him. I see you. You are not hidden now. You are not there. I am seeing you. Right? The minute you see him, in that awareness, he can't hijack you. Next, what do?
Sometimes this happens to me. Sometimes I shout. Like
You're shouting at that asura.
No. I really say something. Like I'm alone in the house or I'm somewhere. I'm telling, get lost from me. I say, get lost from me. Get out of my window. Get out of here from my the door.
You don't need to do all that.
So, but I do it. Sometimes.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is that, see, in awareness, he has already left you. If you're able to see him, he can't stay with you anymore. You don't have to ask him to get out. But see him. See him for the fact that he is experiencing those emotions. Whether it is asura who's experiencing those good emotions through you. You may be experiencing a lot of joy, a lot of gratitude, a lot of divinity, a lot of happiness, a lot of contentment, a lot of all of these positive emotions. Put them, success, the feeling of, being powerful, the feeling of, all. So, again, something happened in office and, few things where all of these guys who were in my team apparently said that Anil is the best manager to work with. And I'm like, oh man, no. I was feeling happy. I was feeling happy that, everything that that my teammates acknowledged the fact that I was, helping them in their career moving forward and whatever else, right? And bringing them because they never had a manager so far who did that for them. And so they felt it and I felt it. And I said, the minute I felt it, I'm like, who's feeling it? I can see you. The minute you say, I see you, he can't stay.
Okay, so I have not questioned my positive emotions. Like I haven't questioned my suras. Maybe I have enjoyed, like whenever I'm happy and I'm completely fulfilled. So I haven't questioned them. I haven't asked them to leave, but I've asked them to. I've asked asuras to leave.
No, the
whenever
problem
I'm
with that
undergoing
is,
jealousy and-
that's what I'm saying. It's very good to feel positive emotions. The entire Western philosophy is about feeling positive.
Yeah.
Their whole thing now, everybody is telling you feel positive and all that. But what they don't realize is when you are feeling positive, it is the Sura who is coming and feeling that positive emotions through you. And he won't stay there for long. He's going to leave you. But when he leaves, there is going to be a void. And that void will be occupied with an Asura. Because when Asura leaves, an Asura is watching that this is a weak soul. That is a weak soul. He is it's like that, what do you say, the ebb and flow, the crest and trough. When there is a crest, there has to be a trough. So whenever you're feeling positive, you will feel negative after some time. And surprisingly, I mean, I'm talking about this, and I was able to see this when I was 18 years ago in college, where I was seeing that 1 week is a good week, another week is a bad week. I was able to distinctly witness seeing all the good things that are happening this week. So I've become a witness to it, and I've done it unconsciously. I didn't have any spiritual inclination, any spiritual initiative, nothing. So, but I'm able to see this happening in my own life, where I'm able to step away and see that there is 1 week which is a good week, another week which is a bad week, then another week that is a good week, then another week that's a bad week. I mean, when I say bad week, there are some unpleasant occurrences that happens, then there are some pleasant stuff that happens. So I can see that cycle repeat. And I'm asking myself, how do I respond to this? Because it is out of my control, it is happening. I didn't want that unpleasant experience to happen, but it happened. I didn't want this pleasant experience to happen, but it happened. So how should I be responding to this? And I kept seeing this, and I still remember, so my college was in Electronic City, and I would leave from here to Electronic City, and I would always be thinking about all the things that happened in that week to me, and I would try to make a guess that day what will happen to me. So what I'm saying is that it is going to happen to us irrespective of whether we like it or not. And this is what I'm trying to tell even in the group, in the WhatsApp group, that experiences. And did you guys listen to Premanandji Maharaj? That one that I shared in the group, did you listen to it?
Today one, na?
Today's.
Too strong. Yes.
जब परिवार बनते हैं कहाँ पे आप जन्म लेते हो
हाँ
परिवार वाला
परिवार वाला.
What Parivar Wala?
नहीं वो
शिव ओनली
No, which one? No, tell me.
प्रेमानंद महाराज
हाँ.
आप कौन से परिवार में जन्म लेते हो
Correct. But what he says is, जो अनुभव आपको करना है वो तो तय है, वो तो आपको करना ही था, वो जो आपके साथ होना था वो तो होके ही रहेगा, आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते उसके बारे में. But the last story, that is what hit me the most. Did you listen to that last story where he says,
Raman one.
which one? Tell me.
Raman has planned to, मतलब वहाँ पे जाके प्रयागराज में वो सबको खाना खिलाऊंगा.
Oh, that is one. Sorry. Before that, then, or was it after that, where there are 90 people who come to kill him?
Kill him. That was also that one is important.
I was.
So, yeah.
So he says there are 90. There is a very devout Krishna Bhakt, and he wakes up one morning and 90 people are there to kill him. 90 people out of nowhere. They come with sticks, stones, swords, everything to kill him. And he says, and they are like, come out now, we're going to kill you. And he says, please give me some time. As in my last wish, I wish to bathe my deity Krishna in the river. So he goes to the river and he bathes his Lord and he prays to him and he says, I have been so close to you, I have only worshipped you. Why suddenly are you bringing, what is your Leela? I am not able to understand. You tell me your Leela that you've got. 90 people. So God says, these were the 90 people you had killed in different lives. If you had to give them to you, if just for them to kill you, you would have had to take 90 more lives. Now I have sent all 90 to you in one shot.
Because you are more devotion this lifetime. ज़्यादा डिवोशन हुए उसकी वजह से आपको पूरा एक साथ आपको दे देंगे.
एक साथ आपको मिल रहा है. So that's why I said a lot of people, I can see in my own friend circle, a lot of people going through, very devout guys. Sajid is one, and then another friend called Santosh. So many of them, they are like, oh my God, they're so devotional, and I can see so much of shit happening in their lives. Extreme circumstances, they don't know. One of them is like, I don't know when my next meal will come from. I have a family to support. So many things, health problems, unimaginable. And he's like, it's okay, life is already there, it's happening, I can't do anything. Like that. And it's crazy. So, coming back to this topic, so we have those emotions that need to be experienced, which is going to come to us any which ways. Whether we like it or not, we will have those emotions that we have to experience. What to do then?
When we get any kind of strong emotional attachment or feeling, like positive or negative, immediately if we realize who is experiencing it, so the Sura or Asura will leave that very
Bring it into your awareness.
that's
Who is experiencing it? Experiencing what? So that's the first step. What are you experiencing? It is known as EQ, emotional quotient, where you are able to distinctly identify all your emotions, understand your patterns. How one emotion will lead to another emotion. Bring that into your awareness. Let that be your present moment awareness of your thoughts, emotions, feelings, attachments, everything. Bring it in front of you. See, I'm feeling this. Now see, I'm thinking this, I'm feeling this. See, I'm thinking this, I'm feeling this. Bring that into your awareness. Then you say, who is feeling it? If you say who's feeling it, you will not know who's feeling what. The Asura is also very, very clever, no? He will not allow you to bring that into it. He will say, who's feeling what? He'll confuse you. Before you know, you will be feeling positive things, then you will feel negative things. You will not know it. Be very, very systematic. So, I do a lot of walking around the park where I do something called as meditative walk, where I just observe myself. So many a times I feel, so I'm walking by that same park and there's that apartment and I saw something, I just had a nice, I had a glimpse inside the apartment and I felt suddenly that, that's how the house should be, it should be like this. And then I said, yes, I should, there should be a time when I should be demolishing my entire house and building like this. And then I thought, okay, then when will that time come? I should start building up for that. I should build my wealth for that now only. How should I be building my wealth? This is what I should be doing. Then I'm like, oh my God, what is my wealth now? Then what should I be doing next? So many things, chart. All that happened within a matter of 2 minutes. And suddenly I'm seeing myself doing all this. And I'm building it up. And I'm saying, look, then suddenly I see that I have got carried away in that emotion. And there is no negative positive here, but it is drawing me. It is not letting me come to present moment awareness. It is showing me a pattern. That see, this is my pattern in life. It is showing me a pattern of my own thoughts.
तो उसमें क्या, do you think कि every time you feel the same kind of pattern, you have same kind of pattern or it's a different?
Depends on your power of awareness. In mine, I can see that it repeats once in a week. There are some patterns which repeat, frequently, some which repeat infrequently. But the whole idea is that when you see your patterns, you bring it into awareness, you are strengthening that neural pathway. So that same pattern, when the thought sparks, the neural pathway will keep firing, right? We saw that, no? So all your, what is that? What, again, I keep forgetting that. Neuropeptides, right? All your neuropeptides are responding to your hypothalamus, which is experiencing an emotion. Those specific neuropeptides are being released. Your cells are acting as receptors. It locks in. The emotions lock in with those neuropeptides, and the neural network is firing. Poof, poof, poof. Now you're bringing it into awareness. You're saying, okay, that's it. See my pattern. And the minute the pattern starts, the next time I'm able to observe it. I'm saying, see, I'm feeling that way, and I'm able to then the next important thing is, how do I get away from it? By reminding myself that this is all an illusion. Whether I do this or I don't do this, whether I have that house or I don't have that house, whether this is a success or it isn't a success, whether it happens in this birth or it happens in the next birth or it doesn't happen at all, it doesn't really matter. All I'm seeing is an illusion. I'm seeing myself. First I see the world as an illusion, then I see myself as the illusion. Everything is an illusion. And then in this illusion I come back to feeling neutral again. Feeling, yeah. Then I again get lost in the thoughts of Lord Hanuman that he has blessed me with his grace, that I can see this right now. Otherwise I wouldn't have been able to see it. So this is what keeps happening within you. You keep becoming an observer. So you see, and that's why I'm trying to build on this experiences thing. If you see, the last few messages in the group have all been about experiences, experiences and experiences. How are experiences shaping us? How are we attaching importance to experiences by looking at the people who are bringing those experiences to us? We had to experience, and that's why that Premanand ji is also telling the same thing, that अगर कोई आके आपको मार के भी चला जाए तो प्रतिक्रिया मत करना, because you had to experience it. He came, but now उसको गाली मत देना, उसके प्रति कोई भी बुरे विचार मत रखना, कुछ मत करना. Don't curse him. Just step away. You had कोई आपका पैसा लेके भाग गए, तो उनको तो लेना एंड देना, ये एक्सपीरियंस इज वेरी ब्यूटीफुली. जो लेना है उस पे ध्यान मत दो, जो देना है उस पे ध्यान दो, क्योंकि नहीं तो आपको और एक जन्म लेना पड़ेगा उसमें. So all of that, right? People who have hurt us, people who have betrayed us, people who have cheated us, people who have abused us, people who have exploited us. We are all there because a lot of hurt. We are all here because all of these emotions have helped us in moving us towards the spiritual path. Otherwise we won't have been here, honestly. Everything that has happened is because we have all got screwed in life. All of us. Me included, big time screwed. So, because of that, we are on this path. So that experience itself was a stimulant for us to walk on this path. So let us thank God for giving us these experiences, for helping us understand that it's not, trust me, it's very, very rare that a person who has this experience comes out of it as a devotee. Because I've seen so many times where people who go through bad experiences come out cursing God, questioning God, losing faith in God. But if we have all come out on the other side, Him only. With that, let's end the session today. Jai Hind. Jai Shri